Carter here from Carter Curricula. A good Friday morning to you, YouTube. I'm on here on mission to savor our shared humanity with analysis and commentary of poetry written by dead poets. We are in a savoring our shared humanity series, and we are taking a look at the poems coming from this text, Black Feeling, Black Talk, Black Judgment, and these are poems written by Nikki Giovanni. It's a it's a book of her poems, and man, it has been a treat to get to know some of these poems. Um, the poem that we're going to take a look at is called "You Came Too." But before we get there, I want to introduce you to 11 categories when analyzing literature. And by the way, I'm gonna put a link to this book of poems in the description, and I'll also put a link to these 11 categories of thinking when analyzing literature. I'll put a link to that as well. These categories are categories that you can use in order to broaden your understanding of literature. Maybe you could even say to widen the context. Perhaps you could even say to develop a little bit of sophistication as you read literature, whether that's short stories or poetry. And a category that I want to take a look at is the mythological category or archetype story pattern. Now, in this archetype story pattern, what we have here is um, you'll sort of read a poem and then you'll analyze the poem, answering these questions. How does the character or narrator or speaker reflect timeless story patterns or archetypes? Hero, mentor, outcast, trickster. What symbolic or mythic themes, such as rebirth, journey, sacrifice, transformation, are present in the narrative or the poem? That's the question that we'll really take a look at today. Is what symbolic or mythic themes? There's a mythic theme, sort of a religious or spiritual theme that jumps out of this poem, and I think that you could apply it to your life and live a spiritually nourishing life because of it, savoring your our shared humanity because of the depth of the theme and the relevance of the theme and the ancient nature of the theme and how that ancient nature of the theme touches our lives today. Last question that you could ask when you're speaking about um, interpreting a text or understanding a text mythologically: how does the story echo or subvert ancient or universal themes? And we'll talk about how it echoes universal themes. So let's take a look at the poem. The poem is called "You Came Too," written by Nikki Giovanni, written in about anywhere between 1968 to 1970. The book of poems were published in 1970. So here it is. You Came Too. Let me make sure I get this situated. I came to the crowd seeking friends. I came to the crowd seeking love. I came to the crowd for understanding. I found you. I came to the crowd to weep. I came to the crowd to laugh. You dried my tears. You shared my happiness. I went from the crowd seeking you. I went from the crowd seeking me. I went from the crowd forever. You came too. Let's take a look at the different things that the author does in this text, and then we'll make I'll provide some comments related to the mythological nature of it or the spiritual component that I see here, and then apply that to our everyday lives. Here we go. Let's make some observations. You came too. All right, so right there, when you take a look at this, you notice that the title of the poem is also the last line in the poem. Wonderful technique that many authors use. You just extract a piece of the poem, and then you make that piece of the poem the title of the poem. Notice, I came to the crowd seeking friends, right? I came to the crowd seeking love. I came to the crowd seeking for understanding. So you see that this speaker is going to a place, right? Or yeah, going to a place where they're looking to find connections. You can understand this. I can understand this. This is a shared human uh, trait that we all have, is that we look for other individuals who are going to connect with us, with whom we could connect. We look for love. We are seeking love. All of us are seeking love. Even if it doesn't seem like we're seeking love, we are seeking other people, other human beings to connect with. And the great and glorious thing about this one is I found you, is that this speaker found that's my little microscope or magnifying glass. The speaker found that which the speaker was looking for. The speaker knew what the speaker was looking for. I came to the crowd to weep. I came to the crowd to laugh. So in the whole spectrum of things, this is a polar opposite. These are two polar opposite experiences. One weeping, one laughing. Oftentimes those are seen or happen separately. Sometimes when you're at your worst, somebody cracks a joke and then you laugh, and that sort of thing. But in this instance, you see the polarity between weeping and laughing, anywhere between, and everything. I would imagine that the speaker is saying everything in between as well. And guess what? The person whom I found you. The person who the speaker found dried their tears. Look how the tears goes back up to the weeping. The person from the crowd, they shared in the happiness. Sometimes when you connect with some individuals, they don't necessarily share in the same happiness that you have. They don't necessarily share in your joy, and sometimes, to be honest, we don't share in the joy. We don't share our humanity. We resist what other humans are going through rather than share in the experience. Oh, you're happy? Let me be happy too. Oh, you're crying? Let me empathize with you and weep with you. Let my tears roll down my face as you cry, or let me dry your tears to show some compassion, some concern, some interest in you. Sometimes we don't do that. Here in this text, we see that the speaker has found someone who will share tears, happiness, and everything in between that spectrum. And then check out the second to last stanza. I went from the crowd seeking you, still seeking that same individual who found them. The seeking is almost as if that person is still cultivating the same level of interest, the same level of finding, the same level of love that they want, the same level of friendship and understanding is still being sought after by the speaker in the same individual who found them. I went from the crowd seeking me. Whoa, this is an added part. Not until the last stanza do we see the speaker saying, I went from the crowd seeking me. This is the first time we see the speaker having essentially interest in self, and their interest is not outwardly directed. This person seeking me, they're seeking friendship with themselves, perhaps. They're seeking love with themselves, perhaps. They're seeking self-understanding with themselves, perhaps. And that is where we see almost the narrative, the maturity of the speaker as a character. The speaker as a character seems to mature. The speaker as a character seems to have psychological, emotional state that is shifting, right? Not just from a seeker of others, but a seeker of self. And right there, I want to pause and take a few moments to remind you to seek yourself, to remind you to befriend yourself, to remind you to share in that common shared humanity of where human beings become those who understand themselves. Self understanding is the beginning of all understanding. Self understanding is the first part. If you want to understand something, understand yourself. Come to understand yourself, because it's in the understanding of self, the seeking of self, that you are able to seek and understand others. The order in this is, I think, in my opinion, the order of this is wrong, but nonetheless, at least this character, the speaker, as a character, has come to the point where they have at least come to understanding or seeking themselves, which seems to me to suggest friendship, love, and understanding. So that self-love, that self-understanding is the beginning of all love and all understandings. And then no longer did the speaker have to stay in the crowd. The speaker could never have to return to the crowd. Why? Because this speaker has found a person who they could befriend, love, and understand, a person with whom they could weep and laugh. They have found themselves, and they can weep and laugh without feeling a disconnect. And the last line of this poem, you came to. Right? You came to. We both were in this crowd. I found I found you in this crowd, and you had the nerve, the willingness, the bravery, the love, the connection, the understanding of me to come with me from that crowd and become two, a couple. And in this text, what I want to show, highlight especially, is the use of the literary technique of anaphora, which is anaphora, anaphora, whatever, however you call it. It repeats a phrase repeats at the start of many sentences. So the use of anaphora here, I came to the crowd, 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 I went from the crowd, I went from the crowd, I went from the crowd. This use of anaphora is there, in my opinion, because it is showing the movement, the flow of the speaker. The speaker is developing. The speaker is coming to an understanding. The speaker is having a new reality, and the new reality is not a seeking but a finding, right? And so the spiritual principle that I want to highlight, the mythical understanding that I want to highlight here, is the concept of seek connections and you will find. Specifically connections, but in general, it's connections in this specific text, but in general, speak and seek and you will find. Not speak, seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be answered to you. Who said this? Jesus said this to his disciples. He said it, I believe, on the Sermon on the Mount. I could be wrong there. But Jesus said this statement, seek and you will find. It is a spiritual principle that has been passed down by our spiritual ancestors so that we can understand that the um, the spiritual will draw you, lead you to what you are seeking. And in this instance, the seeking is in the connections. This is a poem that echoes the ancient, universal, spiritual principle that you seek and you will find. You knock and the door will be answered to you. And what I want to ask you is, um, have you stopped seeking? Have you stopped knocking? Have you um, distanced yourself from your own seeking of self? Has life chopped you down to the point where you don't feel that you want to continue to seek connections or whatever else that you might be seeking? Is there something that you are seeking in this life and you haven't gotten it yet? Right? It's the key word, yet. It's like that growth mindset idea. Yet. Yet you don't you haven't found that thing for which you seek yet. If you look at this stanza, I came to the crowd. I came to the crowd. I came to the crowd. It's not as if coming to the crowd and then boom, instantaneously, this person found what they were seeking. There was a little bit of a flow. There's three lines in the stanza. It seems to suggest there was a little bit of time that took place for this person to find this individual. I came to the crowd to weep. I came to the crowd, but you have to come to the crowd seeking. You can't find this thing unless you are seeking it, actively seeking it, actively going to places from the comfort of wherever you might be, right? And that honestly, that as I get a little bit older, man, The idea of coming out of comfort zones is a little bit less of a conversation that I have with older people, but it's still true that we have to leave from comfort zones. We have to leave from essentially the comforts of our under our sheets, sometimes from the comforts of under our roof, in order to go and seek and find. And this spiritual principle still is effective and still is alive today. Not every single time that you seek, you will find exactly what you're looking for, but you will find the thing that you're looking for spiritually. You will find the thing that you're looking for. But in my opinion, this individual seeking, and this individual has the belief that they will find the very thing that they seek: friendship, love, and understanding. They sought it and they found it. What a beautiful, beautiful poem that has a mythological, or I should say, a spiritual principle that is still active and alive today, passed down to us from our great forefather Jesus, spiritual forefather Jesus. Seek and you will find. Next time we're together, we'll be looking at the poem called "I Am Not Lonely." I'll link the that into the description. I will also link a copy of the categories, 11 categories of thinking when analyzing literature. I'll link that into the description. And then I'll also link the actual book, Feeling, Black Talk, Black Judgment. I will see you on the next one.